Welcome to Igniting Inspired Inquiry, a space for real conversations with incredible humans. I'm your host, Jay, and I'm here to open the door to reflection, resonance, and revelation. If you have a moment to like, share, subscribe, or review, I would deeply appreciate you sharing the love. This is a space for truth, trust, and the kind of insight that comes from simply being human. Thank you for being here. Let's begin. Here we are. I get to welcome back a guest who was sort of midway in season one. After a beautiful circle I met her in. Since then, been in a beautiful circle. I still have that mandala. I'm not in the right room to show that off. But Zena, you're back, and I'm
I'm
really
back.
excited to have you here. I'm excited for the kōrero to continue in whatever way, shape, or form that is, and whatever we feel is important in our life for perhaps what people need to hear.
Mm.
And I'm just really grateful. So thank you, Zena.
Thank you.
So I'm still going to ask that question because people who are listening or watching may not know who you are. You can answer this however you please. Who is Zena?
Ko. Well, I'm Zena, the wahine and artist behind Wharekoko Toi. I've been on a healing journey. It's such a hot word at the moment, isn't it? But I've been on a bit of a journey for a while, and in the process of trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up as a 50-year-old woman now. 5 years ago, I found myself connecting with art and creativity and was looking for a way to reconnect with myself and to find healing with myself that didn't involve old patterns, old behavior. And so this started off as a journey purely for myself, painting some dots on a rock, and it's just blowing up. So I've been creating for 5 years. This is my fifth year, and it's been such a beautiful, it's been challenging, but it's been
Mm.
a beautiful journey and season. So I'm 50 now. I've got a whole new
Woo.
attitude to life. I see
Yes.
things quite differently. I'm a mama to five. I've got 10 mokopuna, and I'm on a journey of wanting to connect and wanting to show the magic that can happen when we tap into our creative energy and flow. And I
Mhm.
want to basically stand from the maunga and shout it out to everyone that we all have that capacity and ability to be creative. We've just got to be able to tap into that space. And how do we do that? So, yeah, that's me in a
Amen.
little nutshell.
And we're going to get to know you more. I agree. I am here for your mahi, and I so deeply appreciate it. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why you're here.
Mm,
Because I just want more people to see you and hear you and get to know what you do because it brings light to the world.
thank
Mm,
you.
you're welcome. So, first question, which you've answered before, what is one moment, belief, or experience that changed the way you see the world?
Yeah, I've sat with this say, and I try to think, what did I say last time? And it's like, it's not about last time, it's about this time.
Yes.
And there's been lots of moments that I can always go back to. But I guess staying in this season that I'm in now, something that a belief that's really come up for me a lot lately has been no one's coming to save you, Zena. Hey, for me,
Mm,
it's that I've spent far too long in my journey and in my life looking externally for validation or for we're all looking for the quick fix. How can we change our state, our mindset, all of that. And for me,
mm,
it just the huge shift was no one's coming to save me. I've got to do the work if
mhm.
I want to make the change. Quite simple, but such a shift from, I guess for me, it's about taking my power back because there's
Yes.
been lots of situations, and we've all experienced trauma, grief, where I've had power and I guess my mana stomped
Hmm.
on. And
Mm-hmm.
so no one else is going to do that for me. We're all on our own journey and we have to show up for ourselves first and foremost. So for me, it's been very much that repositioning myself of I have the tools and the ability to move through whatever life is going to throw me because I know in the depths of my heart that my 2.0 will never put me in spaces and places I can't rise in. I've just got to be willing to believe in myself. And it's harder than what we realize, but it can, but in saying that, it doesn't have to be that hard,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's been a big one for me. No one's coming to save you, Zena. You have to do it yourself. Get off your ass. There's no point wallowing in the state.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I can move through it as fast or as slow as I want and still
Mm-hmm.
honoring the process. It's not about getting out of that state and transitioning. It's about that transformation and what is the situation or what is life presenting to me right now that's giving me feedback to help me level up to the next stage.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that comes with a deep level of presence.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. What I love about what you shared was the second part, what you added to it was like, it's not just no one's coming to save me, but that I need to do this myself.
Mm,
And that I hear is like, that's to me the sacred responsibility, right? It's like
mm,
taking responsibility for our life, knowing that not only is no one going to save us, but only we know what we need and the
mm.
tools that we need to find, the resources that we have to gather in order to move forward in the way that we want to, right?
Right.
And only we know how we want to show up, to be fair.
Well, this is it. I mean, it's not a one size fits all.
Mm-mm.
If that was the case, we'd all look the same, we'd all be the same size, but what works for me isn't going to necessarily work for somebody else. And I've sat in that space where I've looked at another sister and gone, how did she? I want to be
Mm-hmm.
like her. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I just need to be comfortable just being like me.
Yes.
Because there's enough room in this world for little old Xena as there is for beautiful
Yes.
Jay, you know?
Yes. 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 100%. And what I also hear when you say that is like, and I fully believe this in so many ways, if we could all take that responsibility for our own lives, for our own path, for our own healing, for our own way of how we truly authentically want to show up, the world would be a better place.
Oh, 100%. Instead of being in this position of being right fighters and projecting and yeah,
Reacting to life instead of responding, eh?
oh, I mean, totally. We have the tools and the powers within us. And even as recently as last week, I found myself in a situation and those, of course, naturally I'm going to be challenged. That's life.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a choice, I have a choice as to I can react like the old Xena would,
Mm-hmm.
spiral, be all dramatic, turn into a bull because I was really good at doing those things. I was really good at masking and being
Mm-hmm.
reactive, or I can sit in it and be true to me and honor me and in that process coming out of it, not feeling shame, not regretting, not being like, oh, why did I do that? But honoring me and saying, you're doing fucking okay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so I see it too often. I've done it myself for so long where we look at others, we either envy others
Mm-hmm.
or we're asking others to give us the answers that often we need to look within.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. And that's where the present comes from, the presence, right?
Yeah.
And being in that awareness of self. And like you said, which I love, is like it's not about getting it right. It's about being present to the shift you want to make. And it might feel really uncomfy. And what you were meaning is like reacting the way you used to, but then observing
Yeah.
it and not doing that, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's not a switch you flick, it's something that you have to get uncomfy with first.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not a transformation that happens overnight. It's something that you have to sit with time and time again. but it's like it's exercising that muscle. The more you sit in that space, the more you allow yourself to be present. And it's as simple as, like, for me, it's being willing to just do nothing sometimes. You know, we don't
Amen there.
we
Oh
don't have
yeah.
to we don't have to react, but just be in that stillness and allow it to kind of, like, for me now, it's like, oh yeah, so what is this? What is the feedback? What is this trying to tell me? What am I ignoring or choosing not to look fully at? 100%, and then move through it. It's that whole, for me, I spent too much time sitting in a place of unwellness and allowing that to be my identity instead of transforming and transitioning into a place where it's a lot more settled and a lot more peaceful in my heart and in my head.
That's beautiful because that's what I was going to ask you is like an example of when you did decide nobody's coming to save me. I've got to do this myself. Like an example that was a big pivot point in your life. And that sounds like the area of wellness and choosing your health and vitality.
Oh, I mean, totally. In 2020, I got diagnosed. I mean, I've had lots of diagnosis, a history of mental health. And then in 2020, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia and CP, all of these labels. And it's kind of like we start as if, like, these labels define me. And I kept looking externally, but that's only aspects of me. It doesn't make up who I am. And and that's what I realize even now when I'm experiencing moments of flare up or pain, is I don't need to go to somebody else to tell me how to do it. I just need to honor me. And again, there will be people will know that feeling of, in their gut, in their intuition, they know what's right for them, but somebody else is telling them that they're wrong. And then again, we're losing that because we're letting somebody else dictate what we intrinsically know to be right for us. And so how can we stay in that space without just making it transactional?
Absolutely. And also, like when we're not listening to what's coming through for us, we're not trusting our own inner knowing. Because what I was hearing as you were saying that is what people forget, or maybe haven't had an experience to understand yet, is the body knows. The body's black and wise. And if we could just get into a space, which I understand a lot of people don't understand yet, or haven't had enough of an experience to feel comfortable or connected to, is that the body will tell you what it needs. There is a yes and a no, but there's also a way to guide, but it's in the slowness and the stillness, right?
Mm, mm. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I look at a lot of young ones nowadays because as a 50-year-old, and I'm still figuring out, I'm far from perfect. I still have my moments. I still have my weaknesses and challenges, where I have to make a choice. And then I see all these, other beautiful wahine sisters, and I'm like, and then I see that little bit of me getting a bit envious of, oh, I wish I was like them when I was their age. And it's like, yeah, but this is my journey. Again, it's shifting that mindset of, you can't compare your path to somebody else's. You just have to honor you and honor me and be okay with that.
Agreed. Yeah. Which, and I think I've said this on the podcast before, but it baffles me that we compare to another when not one of us on this planet is the same. Like, what are we even comparing to?
Yeah. Yeah, it's that conditioning, eh? It's that conditioning of somebody's got it better than me.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Or,
this,
and the perception of perfection, because there is no such thing.
no.
But the perception that I need it to be perfect is actually getting in the way. Because what does that perfect even look like? And not often, people often don't even know. I'm striving for perfection. Okay, what does that look like? I don't know. So then what are you striving for?
Yeah. And sometimes we get scared of being in the ruts, being in the pits of the darkness. But the reality is light cannot shine without darkness. We know this. It's that duality.
Agreed. But it's also like that's fully being human.
Mm,
And there's a perspective that if we're feeling those things, if we're in the darkness, if there's uncomfortable, that we've done something wrong. So no, that's
yeah,
human. That is you being you.
that's the experience.
Yes.
It's not a punishment,
Mm-mm.
because it's that shifting that even for me, why does this happen to me? Why me? Why, and that's the dialogue that I
Mm-hmm.
need to shift and change
Mm-hmm.
from.
Mm. Yeah. It's such a powerful pivot, just like the belief of, nobody's coming to save me.
Nobody's coming to save me. I have to save me. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same as
Well, and you
um,
get to. It's a joy and it's a journey.
it's a joy and a journey that you get to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate
Mm-hmm.
when you stop and look back and go, holy shit.
Yeah.
No, and even when I'm sort of like had moments where I've caught up with old friends and family and they're like, wow, because they knew the old Zena that would be very, and they see and even having my husband saying to me, you don't sit in those spaces like you used to, so
Yeah.
celebrating those, and it's like, yeah, because I'm no longer making it somebody else's responsibility to make me happy,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
and I'm no
Yes.
longer trying to control everything else,
Agreed.
that's
Agreed. I'm really glad that you brought that up because that is also such a powerful piece. There's a celebration. And actually, I was mentioning a little piece of that before we jumped on the recording, is around like how much we're moving through.
mm,
And the piece that I think that's missing or that we can invite in is acknowledging how much we're moving through because there's so much that we're meeting, that we're facing, that we're healing, that we're sitting in, that we're appreciating how we, or no, but then we miss the appreciation. Like we miss, like you said, it's really powerful to have it reflected back to us. And also, if we could add in doing that for ourselves, we'd actually
mm.
get to see how far we come because we're often just moving the goalpost forward again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's go, let's go. It's like, wait, but did you see where you went? Where you came from?
Yeah. How far you've come. I
Yes.
I'm on a journey of receiving my moko kauai.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, which has been beautiful, this unfolding and all of that. And I shared a piece of content about it. And it was just a moment, it was just a moment, press record, upload, shared, because again, for me, my sharing has always been about connection, about shining light and making somebody else feel less alone in those moments that we're all navigating. And there's always those people that hurt people, and the negative comments, which was what I was talking to, and it showed up. And it was interesting. What I found interesting was so many people dropped into my DMs going, "Are you okay? Is that what they're really?" And I'm like, I'm actually okay with it. Like yeah, maybe a few years ago I would have got caught up in the spiral and caught up with the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But now I just see it as, it's
It's a natural part of the of what you're doing and the truth you're sharing.
in the hundreds of comments that have been on that piece of content. It's easy to focus on the few negatives and
Mm-hmm.
miss the hundreds of celebrating,
Yeah,
loving, supportive words,
that's
and
what matters.
that's been the shift in me showing up for myself, me saving myself is
Mm-hmm.
moving, because I would have got so caught up and then been like, oh, who do I think I am? All of that. But now it's like, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I've fried bigger fish than this.
Yes. And upon reflection, usually a reaction that's negative, it means that it doesn't mean you're right and they're wrong, but it means that you're
No.
challenging what they believe.
Yes.
And bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so good. Now we get to move into question two, which is in the moment. This question I have for you is around your beautiful creations and the mahi that you do. And wanting to know, curiosity, what do you dial into before you step into the work? Because I know that it's very spiritual. I know that a lot of, well, from what you've said, it's guided, right? There's some of it is
Mm.
guided. So what do you connect into when you step into the work, or do you sometimes and not other times? Like, I'm just curious about your method and the transmission of what comes through in your creation. Or it might be just completely intuitive. I'm not sure, but that's over to you.
Yeah, that's got many layers to it, eh? That question.
Mm. So I guess I'm asking from someone who's wanting to be more creative and someone's wanting to really connect to what's purposeful for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess like when thinking of that question, the first thing that comes to mind for me is what does creativity look like? And so often people think creativity is a gift or a skill or it's an ability that we've been bestowed upon us and that some are more gifted than others.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just come out of dropped out of the sky. And I think back to we're all creative beings, in the ways that we either express ourselves or show up and how we prepare kai or there's creativity in so much that we do, even going right back to when we were kids and how we would play and that it's about for me it's about connection, that connection to yourself. And I used to think in order for me to get into my creative flow I had to do this certain ritual. And there are many times I do, but there are also times where sometimes I just have to show up exactly as I am, whether that's in my 90, looking like I've just been dragged behind the back of a truck and allowing myself to experience
Mhm.
the transition through creativity. But when more specifically now, when I, because I can weave in and out of those spaces. Before it was really hard to transition from life and into this realm of
Mm.
creativity, and it would take
Mm.
a lot. Now I can kind of dance and weave in and out of it again as I've exercised that muscle. And for me, very often when I start a piece, there is a process, there is a process that I honor for myself so that I can show up fully and allow myself to be basically like I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but I'm just the tool, I'm just the
Mhm.
one that's bringing it forward.
Good
And so,
channel.
yeah, and so when I think about even the name Wharekoko Toi and where that comes from, because it's a name of ancestral land up in Hawke's Bay, that I
Mm.
whakapapa to. But for me, it's the meaning of that word and why I chose to allow it to be the identity of who I am. Because when I think about how I create, it's not in here, it's often in my puku. And it's whare is that it's that housing, it reminds me when you're as a wahine, when you're hapu and you're carrying life energy within you and you're
Mm.
nourishing it and you're nurturing it and everything that you're doing in those moments is growing something. And quite often that's how I see the art, is it's something that I, through consultation with spirit, with wairua, doing karakia, dropping in, using things like incense and rongoa and all of that, and allowing that to nurture the energy,
Mm.
the creative process, and then through the act itself, it reveals itself. I don't
Mm.
always know what I'm going to create. I don't always know
Mm.
what's going to come out. There are some stages where it's a deliberate choice and thinking process, but when it comes down to the actual creative process, I allow myself to not sit in the resistance, not sit in looking at, oh, what's everybody else doing and the expectation,
Mm.
just allow it to move through. So it's generally what I encourage people to do when they're wanting to dive into that is just allow yourself to show up. That's the
Mhm.
first thing you need to do, is you just got to be willing to take the first step.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's carving out time to write or to color in or to even draw something on the sand. It's just
Yep.
allowing yourself to show up and be
Mm.
willing to be in that space, and everything else will just start to unfold and it will grow. So
Yes.
I know for me, when I'm in true creative flow, I'm not in here.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be in a heart space. And again, it's those deliberate steps that I take and still take
Mm-hmm.
to drop in and get out of here to be able to allow the full.
Yes. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So there's an element in the beginning of practice and
Oh,
getting like honing the craft.
yeah,
And then that brings you into a space of knowing and trust and just like letting yourself be guided.
100%.
Mm.
Because how I create is very different to how somebody else creates.
Yes.
And in the beginning, I was very much like that, where I'd be like, "Oh, but I can't do this," and I would get so attached to the outcome. Like I would be
Mm-hmm.
like, "It has to look this way, and it has to." And that's what I've known now is it's not necessarily just something that looks pretty on the wall. It's the energy that people
Mm-hmm.
are often drawn to in the piece, and that energy comes through how I show up in the moment. And sometimes it's not perfect.
Yep.
Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's highly emotional, sometimes there's anger, but
Mm.
it's being able to sit in that space. And that's what I've loved about being in a creative space, as it's allowed me to show up in all aspects of myself.
Yes.
And it's okay. Like I don't just let it
Mm-hmm.
be, just let it move through me and then watch the magic unfold.
Yay. That's incredible. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. I can feel a lot in that. And also, very much like our first question, it's authentic to you. And you're absolutely right. Creativity looks different for everybody.
Mm,
And it isn't a one, it isn't a being amazing at painting or whatever else for
mm,
everybody, for many.
mm,
And I feel that because that's the part of for me, creativity comes through curating events.
mm,
Like creativity comes in like, and it's the music and it's the energetics and it's the story I want to tell and it's the what I want them to receive and it's all of it. And that
mm,
just lights it just really spins my tires. And to
mm,
me, but then also that's for others. And so then I was asking in a way of like, which is, I love it, obviously, 'cause it just comes through me, but thinking about more creativity just for my soul. And
mm,
for what you're describing is like there's emotions that move through you when you sit in that space and letting
mm.
that be another self therapy.
Well, it is.
Mm.
It is. It's very much a space where I can have those deeper thoughts, unpack some stuff,
Hmm.
sit in that space and not, I don't need to rush it. I mean, you would have seen it too, Joe, when we talk going back, talking about how creativity looks different for everybody, because what
Mm.
works for me isn't necessarily going to work for everybody else.
Mm.
And when I did that, the Mandela Wānanga, and we had all these
Yes.
beautiful women in that space, and everybody was quite different.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's responses, some
Yep.
were, some were just, and
Perfect.
again, it's just how you show up for yourself. Where are you, meeting the resistance
Hmm.
and allowing it to be feedback to, is there something that you just need to, bring down, or do you need to
Yep.
just stay in that space and let it move through? Because as sure as we know the sun's going to rise every day and it's going to go down, we're never going to stay in
Yes.
one state of an emotion.
No. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. And it's again, it's coming back to like how we move energy.
Yeah, yeah,
Energy being the emotion within us, what comes up.
yeah. You know,
Mm.
and it's the gift of when you can sit in that creative space and allow yourself to sit in a, for me it's sitting in that heart space and allowing those murmurs and those whispers, that's where I feel like I'm starting to line up more with wairua and spirit guide source and things,
Mm-hmm.
messages and tohu will come through, and it's just a knowing, I can't, sometimes
Yes.
I can't explain it, and I feel things and I see things and I go, whoa, that's amazing. I'm thinking, 10 years ago, if I shared some of the stuff, people think I'm whacked, but
Mm-hmm.
now we're so much more open to receiving and hearing
Mm-hmm.
how
Yes.
spirit and energy can move and shift, that it's just such a beautiful dance to be a part of, because I find so often we're stuck behind things like this,
Yes. Yes.
totally disconnected. And the beauty of being in creativity is it allows you to be fully connected.
Mm-hmm. To self and to what's coming through or what wants to come through.
Oh,
Agreed.
100%. 100%.
Mm. So juicy. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. That's so cool. So now I want to get into question three, which means reflecting light. You have a question for me.
Do I have a question for you?
Oh. You not got one for me.
I thought about this. I thought, nah, sometimes I just like to see how it,
Yeah, I get it. It'll
I,
come.
I guess it's around, you sort of touched on it, what creativity looks like for you.
Hmm.
How can I sort of form this into a question?
What do you want to know?
What's been one of your hardest lessons that you've had to overcome as a creative, energetic, energy person? What's been
Mm.
your lesson that you've had to overcome to be able to still show up and do what you do so beautifully every day, all day?
I think it's that. I think it's that I show up and present that way even when I'm not feeling it, you know? However, it's also, I think the biggest hurdle, which and you'll feel this too at different levels, it still comes up, is letting the fear of what other people think get out of the fucking way.
Mm,
Because also there's a degree, now this is my opinion,
mm,
but there's a degree of selfishness in that because it's not about you, especially my work. So when I go to post something or to share something and I'm like all in the fear of like what will other people think, I'm like, it's not about you. It's what other people need from what you're doing and trusting that that will land in a way that it needs to land. So
mm,
that I think that's definitely one of the biggest hurdles. And then also, well, actually, it's just like this is threads of everything we've already talked about. It's the not letting comparison hold me back. And noticing when I'm unconsciously seeking something, which I don't really do that anymore, but I spend a lot of time doing that. And then doing that, that would stunt my creativity
mm,
because there's so much noise, but also so much information, and you layer that with comparison of like what they're doing compared to what you want to say and how you want to say it. Well, it just gets murky and muddy,
mm,
but also you miss the meaning of why it came through for you.
mm,
So that's a big part of it, I think. And also with the work that we do, well, again, as you said, we're stepping into new levels of awareness and awake.
mm,
We're stepping into the thing I can talk about. Like I fully feel like I'm a witch, and there's certain spells and certain things that I tune into,
mm,
and that will look differently to everybody. And then
mm,
if I was to break that down for you, you'd be like, oh, that's just like a set of words and a prayer. It could be a karakia to someone else. It could be just a certain little altar to others. But that was a big hurdle for me because
Mm,
I was sort of in that world well before anybody could understand understand it, you know? And so there was a lot of fear around there, and that fear is it goes way back, many lives back. Um,
mm,
you know, being burned, being sacrificed, being all sorts of things. And that is true. We feel it in our being. We feel it in the healings that we do. And I've seen it in the clients that I've helped clear their past lives and in Akashic records and other things like that. The crimes and the wounds and the healing that they're connected to, right?
mm,
But when we understand that these are things that we don't just we know, these are things we know, we feel.
mm,
There's more to that fear.
mm.
It's not just what will people think? It's like it's so layered.
Yeah.
But I let that drive me. I don't let that stop me. And I say that to deepen the meaning of it. Like again, it's not about you. It's about stepping forward and what's true for you. And
Mm,
knowing that whether 10 people hate it and one person it changes their life, because that's what I see in my work. It's a
mm,
majority of people more people reject it because they're not ready, and that's okay,
mm,
than those that step in and are like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
mm,
And it's absolutely understandable that it's like that because it's scary.
mm, mm.
It's not for the faint of heart. And you know
No.
that in the work you're doing, it's not for the faint of heart, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it. Parts of you will be telling yourself you can't, but it doesn't mean you can't. I think, and again, in that creativity, another piece that wants to drop in there is, yeah, is a really big piece. So that started like right back in my yoga days. And then now, even in the events, is not is getting out of what you think it needs to look like and trusting, like you said, the creativity, what wants to come through, trusting that, even when it's like, oh shit, is that what we're doing? All right. And then you do it, you listen, and you see the magic, you see the why.
Mm,
And I have that come through. Even the retreat, I've got a retreat in 2 days. And I had this plan, a little bit of a plan for it. I never planned too much because I trust in the knowing, and I've got a lot of experience in holding space. But then 2 days ago, it was like this idea dropped in, and I was like, "Oh, we're doing that." And I sat with it, and I was like, "Are you sure?" Ooh. And then like the what it needs to look like came in, and I was like, "Nah, we got to trust this." And then I felt into it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a fuck yes, we are doing that." But if I was in the what does it need to look like or comparing to others, I wouldn't let that come through.
mm,
I'd be in the force, in the perfection, in the how will others receive it and what will they think about me.
mm.
I better not do that because it might be a bit weird.
But we love the weird.
I know we do.
The weird is the stuff that just goes off the most.
Yes. Yes.
But isn't it a beautiful dance though, like you said, even
Hmm.
when the resistance and the comparative and the what will people think? Because that never goes away. It's like
Mm-mm.
some people think, oh, we heal and this stuff stops. No, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Still keeps presenting, but it becomes it's like it's a dance. It's a beautiful dance. And instead of you kind of like, oh, I can't, I'm
Hmm.
standing on both my partner's feet, it becomes more of and you
Yes.
can dance into that space and realize, oh, is this what we're doing? And but then,
Hmm.
oh, okay, and we navigate and move this way. And it doesn't have to be linear, one
Hmm.
road that's blinkers off.
Yeah.
It's about
Agreed.
being present enough and willing enough to see when little drop-ins happen and
Hmm.
sources sending you signs and you're willing to go, oh, yep, I'll take that.
Yes. Yes. 100%. It's so true. And you're right. It's not as though it doesn't show up for me anymore. And it's the same in whatever area you're wanting to work in. Those
Mm,
fears and those doubts will still be there. That's part of being human. It's
mm,
whether we listen or not, it's whether we believe it or not. There
mm.
are ridiculous fears and limitations that will appear. And you go, no, I'm going that way. I see that fear. Yep, not mine. No, thank you.
And again, it's where are you supporting? Where is that fear being supported and fed from?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, you know, when we're trying new things and we're looking for guidance and we're looking for support, because you know, we all need it and we all deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
But is it coming from a place of wellness and you know that where that person is offering it with good intentions, or are we just sitting back into that comparative
Yes.
bonding over the what's she going to say and
Yep.
you know, or are we
Mhm.
do we have the right people around to keep nourishing that dream and those drop-ins so that it can keep flowing?
Agreed. Agreed. And then, as you speak about your work, and as I feel, and as reflected to me in my events, that's when people truly receive what they need,
Mm,
rather than when you curate something as what you think is meant to be or what you think they'll like. It's and I felt that in certain events. It's like you go and it's shiny whistles and bells. It's just this is what we think is popular, or this is what we think will have the most wow. And I'm like, but it doesn't permeate in the way that's needed.
no, and sometimes, you know, you can come away from those experiences feeling a lot more lost and
Confused. Yeah.
undone and confused than when you arrived. So, you know, and
Agreed.
again, it's like I always kind of refer to it. It's like you see people coming into these spaces with all these hot ideas, or they're trying to mimic somebody else's, and it's like, well, she's drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes. Yes. So true.
We
So
just
true.
we got to drink our own Kool-Aid. Doesn't have to be the same as everybody
Yeah.
else's.
Yeah. And trust in the knowing that comes through, because we've all got that. That's not rare to you and I. It's there for all of us. That inner knowing, as we've spoken about, I love the threads that come through and the questions we talk about, but it's like literally your body knows and it will respond and help you guide you along the way. You're supported by the elements around you, by your tupuna if you're connected to that. Like whatever is true for you, you're being guided if you allow yourself to be.
100%.
So
100.
good. Ah. Zena, I want to finish up with how do people connect with you? Like, what do you got going on at the Mo?
What have I got going on at the Mo?
Yeah.
So
Are you doing?
Wharekoko Toy on Instagram,
Mhm,
Facebook. At the moment, I'm in transition. So
mhm,
we've just gone through a process of having our beautiful old home demolished
mhm.
and building a new home, which means I'm building a beautiful kick-ass studio for me
Yeah.
because I feel for the next season and the leveling
Mhm.
up is being able to bring people into closer proximity with
Yes.
me and
Yeah.
being able to work more intimately in those spaces of, you know, whatever that looks like, whether it's creating or whatever. So yeah, I do a lot of custom orders, which I really love to do. I really love it when people reach out and want me to honor their journey or their loved one or their story by creating something magical for them. So
Mhm.
that's always on the table.
Yes.
But hopefully by the end of this year, I will be in our new whare and I'll be able to open up space and hold space to bring people in and continue sharing my wisdom and my knowing
Mhm.
and magic.
So good. I love that for the world
Yeah,
and for you.
thank you.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we need to get you down this way for a while longer too.
Yeah, hard out.
Just reminded me. Well, Zena, thank you so much for your beautiful self.
Thank you.
Thank you for arriving here and sharing what's coming through for you and what you're working on. And I really do think that the combo will be of higher service to some of the people who are listening. And it was for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can talk firsthand what it was like. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I wish you a beautiful day.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Mm.
Bye, Diora.
Ciao.